So we're here at the top of the hill actually after the first chicane, and I'm just going to take a quick lap around the circuit. It's quite very much still exploratory laps for me. I've only done 10 laps in the test in the car, so a lot to learn. So I've got my helmet, got my scooter, and if we look behind us actually, we could see just how steep it is coming up to this first chicane. I mean, all the way down there is where the pit lane and the start finish line is, and you're climbing all the way up through the first chicane. Is second gear, quite slow, as you have to brake and really roll the speed through. And if you look here, the track just completely drops away. If you look on that side, you can't see anything. It's so steep. And in fact, we'll probably walk a bit further down here, just so you can have a look at how steep the track drops away, because it is actually really impressive. I mean, when you're in the car, you're going down the hill, and it just, you feel it like in Brands Hatch, for example, Paddock Hill Bend. You feel, your stomach almost comes up because the road drops away so much. You can see it actually here. The clouds are building up, which unfortunately is the forecast for the rest of the weekend. It's not looking great at the moment, but we'll go down here a little bit to this curve, and you can just start to see, I think, where the track is all the way down there, the gravel track. That's eventually where you have to end up. Do this quick left-hander. It's pretty easy flat, the left and the right in the drive, to be honest. I was quite surprised. Lap 2, lap 3, it was pretty easy flat. And that straight ahead of us is where I think Alan McNish had his massive shunt last year, where he ended up going over the barrier into the spectator area. So just here, I think you can see hopefully further down there where the track goes, and it sort of gives you a little sense of how steep it is. We'll go down now and have a look around the rest of the lap. So we're here at the entrance to the Mulsanne Straight, obviously one of the most iconic parts of the circuit. Well, they're all iconic, I suppose, but the corner behind us is Tête Rouge. It's hugely important because that really defines your exit onto the straight, and the first part of the straight is really long as you approach the first chicane. This is the first part of the lap where we're doing over 300 kilometers an hour, and you want to get to the chicane at the end. It's named Tête Rouge. There's a bar in the corner called Tête Rouge, which is where it comes from, but more importantly, you could see the cars coming behind me. This is where the circuit, the private part of the circuit, joins the public road. So from here on in, for the next, I think it's till we get to the Porsche curves, we're actually on public road. So the grip level is completely different. And as a driver, you really got to be aware of when the grip level changes. So let's keep going around the rest of the lap. We're here now at Mulsanne Corner, which is behind us. You can see it's the first gear, really tight hairpin right-hander at the end of Mulsanne Straight. You'd have gone through the 2 chicanes, which are sort of second gear corners. This is really a tough corner because that kink that you're going to see now, makes the braking quite difficult because you're coming flat through that kink, and you sort of brake as the road curves, and the back end of the car always wants to brake loose as you come and try and get a stop for this first gear corner. So it's one of the most important braking zones, I think, on the circuit, and you can really win or lose a lot of time, under braking for this corner. So now this is the big run to Indianapolis, probably most people's favorite corner on the circuit. So let's go have a look. We're here at Indianapolis, like I said, most people's favorite corner, I think, on the circuit, and I understand now why, because they were all telling me before I came here for the test. And the approach here, you see that road car coming through, the right-hander. You're approaching at over 310 kilometers an hour in 6th gear. You flick it down one through the right, really carry the speed through. And then this left-hander, look at the camber in the road. You really have to commit to the apex and roll the speed through there. It's 2nd gear, so you have to decelerate coming out of the right, and cars moving around, you're going right and then left. It's quite difficult to get it stopped, but it's such a challenge and such a buzz when you get it right. It really reminds me in many ways of the left-hander at Monaco around the Hotel de Paris, where you come over the crest and the car's moving around, and then you have to go right for Casino Square. In many ways, the sensations you feel are a lot like that. But yeah, it's certainly a real challenge in a LFP1 car. So we're at the exit of the Porsche curves. I mean, it's such an amazing sequence of corners. It really reminds me of the S's at Suzuka, or Beckett's at Silverstone. Is another one which is very similar to this. Such high speed, sort of flowing corners where you really have to commit to it and believe that the downforce is going to allow the car to grip. In the race, it's going to be a nightmare with slower cars because there's only one line. So if you get behind like a GT car or something who are 10-20 seconds a lap slower than us, it's very difficult. This last right-hander, you can drive around the outside of them, but obviously, as you can see, the walls are quite close in this part. So if you get it wrong, it can end quite badly for the whole race. So. But as a driver, as a challenge, it's such an amazing buzz when you can flow through this part of the track. So here we are at the end of the lap. You've got the two little chicanes, which are in some ways quite irritating. Actually, I have to say I'm not a big fan of this part of the circuit. You come from the Porsche curves, it's such high speed, and then it just feels always a bit awkward, a bit clumsy as you're going through. But I suppose in a way that it's an added challenge on the lap. But I think there's a team they're doing some photos, so I don't want to really interrupt them. Yeah, there we have it, a lap of Le Mans. I'm really looking forward to my first 24-hour race here. I mean, I've only done 10 laps before the weekend on the test day, so a lot to learn over these next 4 or 5 days. But really looking forward. I just hope the weather clears up a little bit because it's not looking good. I tell you, these clouds, if they stay for the race, tyre choice is just going to be a complete nightmare. We'll wait and see what happens.